I got two cats, Elvis and Lola. Sometimes they make them watch movies with me, and they hate me because I make them do it. These are two of the movies they watched with me. Up first, 2023's Baby Cat. I went to Tubi as I was doing a cat movie challenge, and I found this description. When Dana moves into her new apartment, she falls in love with the building's cat, who happens to be a grown woman in a costume. I have to tell you, this movie is excellent because it's someone's particular fantasies shot on green screen and now playing on Tubi for all of us to watch. If that doesn't make you want to check it out, does the fact that the character directly shouts that they are making a movie for Tubi do it? Why are you listening to this? Scott Hillman also made The Magical Christmas Tree, a movie I've also seen. A movie about an elf, a non-gender specific people finding love, and not really about the holidays. But this movie, it's about Dana moving into a new apartment building and learning that there's a cat person who lives there. One day the cat goes into her house, she pets her, which strangely gets her obsessed with human cat consensual BDSM play. The movie in no way judges this kink, which is excellent. Whatever. Is it love? Maybe. There's also a non-binary person, Max Power, played by Sox Whitmore, who's never questioned for what they are. They're an essential and vital character. The cat is also the bear, a superheroine who is once Sergeant Lori Levy, who was given animal DNA by government agencies. She's also able to speak and be charming to Dana's mom, Lisa London, Rocky from Savage Beach. Somehow, all the weird comic book moments pay off by the end. This has some green screen that must be seen to be believed and sound that can barely qualify as mixed. Who cares? This is the purest film I've seen in a long time. Everybody's really good in it. It's brave, raw, weird. I'm so glad I watched it. Don't be put off by bad reviews. Stay with it. Let it breathe. This is a movie that'll wash over you. And another movie that'll wash over you is A Talking Cat from 2013. You got to give it to David DeCoteau. Who else could have directed Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-O-Rama, the surprisingly homoerotic Bigfoot versus D.B. Cooper, in this child-friendly film? Perhaps not surprisingly because David directed it, but well, just go with me here. How does this tie? How does this start again? Duffy the Cat is our star and probably voiced by Eric Roberts. He has the worst job of all. He's a people whisperer, doomed to fix the lives of dumb people. Yes, Eric Roberts, the voice of a cat. Wealthy Phil Barber, who's Johnny Whitaker from Sigmund and the Sea Monster, just paid someone to decorate his home, and he sold his computer company so he can spend more time with his male model son, Chris. If you go through the woods, you'll end up at the home of single mom Susan Kristen DeBelle from the X-rated Alice in Wonderland, the photographer for the April 1976 cover of Playboy by Helmut Newton, and her two kids. Can Duffy the Cat get these two adults together? Can he ship them, make them a couple? Well, probably. But he has a limitation of only being able to speak to each person one time in their entire life. Where did these rules come from in Cats? I don't know. Anyway, this is shot in the same mansion. That's probably this. I don't know. What does this say about me? This was shot in the same mansion as all of DeCoteau's 1313 film series movies that were made to have that number, so they would be at the top of IMDb and the top of streaming sites, so that you instantly find them. They're like The Craft, but the male gaze is trained specifically on males, which is cool. More movies should do that. If you saw Jules Jordan's Ash Worship 13, also the same house. And who hasn't seen Ash Worship 13? I mean, it doesn't have any of my favorites. Oh, it does, actually. Never mind. I take it back. It's got Nacho Vidal in it. I don't like James Dean anymore. But yeah, Francesca James is in it. Go with it, right? It has a 7.6 on IMDb, and I mean, that's saying something. Anyway, back to this cat movie. Eric Roberts spent 15 minutes recording his dialogue, probably 10 minutes too long. He recorded on an iPhone. There are big chunks in this film that are establishing shots that last way too long to be establishing shots or B-roll footage that goes nowhere. There are 59 establishing shots in this 83-minute-long movie. I counted them. I went back through, watched it more than once and counted it. There's also a major plot point that involves ruined cheese puffs. In short, it's everything I wanted it to be. If you ever wondered, what if someone made Look Who's Talking Now with less of a budget and the quite potentially certifiably insane Eric Roberts is a laconic house cat who survives getting hit by a car, all shot so it looks like a softcore adult male movie, while a keyboard version of La Cucaracha plays repeatedly. Good news, this movie is made for you. I have no idea who you are. I am afraid of you because you're very similar to me. But once you start me down that rabbit hole of DeCoteau films, that leads me to, I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of them, 2012, Santa's Summer House. a family-friendly holiday movie from the maker of Prey the Jaguar and Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Bolorama, as well as some Puppet Master movies. What if Chris Mitchum was Santa Claus? Yeah, Chris Mitchum from Aftershock, The Day That Time Ended, Faceless, Bigfoot, and Alejandro Jodorowsky's Tusk. What did we had for Mrs. Claus? We had Cynthia Rothrock, the hard-fighting star of China O'Brien, Honor and Glory, Rage and Honor. So many straight-to-video karate epics. Let's go one better. What if this was made in the same house as A Talking Cat and Ass Worship 13? They may have shared the same budget, which is probably catering, which was probably Jack in the Box. Mary Crawford may be the name of the credits, but this movie is all the work of David DeCoteau. It feels like the most porny holiday film I've ever seen without actual penetration. I mean, that wouldn't do for this movie that's trying to be kid-friendly and feels holiday-destroying. Is that Gary Daniels, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star in a Christmas movie? And martial artist Daniel Bernhardt, who is Alex Cardo in the second and third Bloodsport films? Surely we're going to see fist fights, right? Nope, they're going to play croquet. This is a Christmas movie set not at Christmas, replete with public domain holiday songs and Lucas-like wipes. These Google Images clip art. It's as if it were edited in iMovie. I know it isn't, but it could be. It almost as if a family made this movie and sent it to my way to drive me insane before the holidays and seasonal depression had their way with me, and the three-way so rough it had to be shot by Max Hardcore. Gary is a workaholic married to another workaholic named Sadie, who is played by another world-class ass-kicker, 5-time world kickboxing champion Kathy Long. The Punisher, the Queen of Mean. She played Frosty in the aforementioned Rage and Honor. But why are she and her husband and their kids getting in a van and driving through a magical fog? Because they're going to find Santa's summer house. There's a caterer named Constance, but there's always a caterer in David DeCoteau movies, who bullies an orphan named Molly into giving up being a photographer. Somehow Robert Mitchum, the man who made Night of the Hunter, one of my all-time favorite films, gave birth to the man that played Santa here. Santa, who sits in a hot tub, drops hints about what he does, and none of the martial artists can pick up on the sledgehammer clues because they're all too busy playing croquet. That game could still be going on now, nearly 10, 15 years after this movie stopped filming. As for Santa, all he wants to do is chill. I get it, Santa. He works a month a year, and so much effort. He spends 11 months just watching TV and just schwitzing in the tub. Chill out, Santa. Run, Rudolph. But hey, for all the cookies Mrs. Claus cooks, she seems to be keeping in pretty decent shape. Must be all the kicking dudes in the head. Cynthia Rothrock, a magical creature, a wonderful, not just because she's from here. I love her. Every holiday season, I find a movie that makes me fall in love with Christmas but hate Christmas at the same time. And Santa's Summer House is one of those movies. Watch it at your own peril because this movie will fucking own you. DeCoteau also directed Christmas Spirit and The Great Halloween Puppy Adventure. 2 more holiday films. If you don't think I'm going to hunt those down, maybe you've never listened to this podcast before. I mean, Eric Roberts and a Halloween puppy? I'm not made of stone. Here's some true stories. I once had the wild idea of writing a Dukes of Hazzard script. This is back when Dukes of Hazzard... Okay, this is before we realized that Southern flags were evil. This is like 93, 94. And I was super into the Dukes, and it used to be on at 5 in the morning on Sunday nights on PGH in Pittsburgh. And I would stay up just to watch it because it was playing nowhere else. So I was like, what if I wrote a script? Just, who would buy it? Nobody. I'm just sending a non-agented script in about Dukes of Hazzard. Anyway, Japanese businessmen were going to buy out Hazzard County from Boss Hogg, who gets himself swindled. Ninjas get involved. And Cynthia Rothrock would play a new Duke cousin who was in the army and learned how to fight overseas. I went to art school. Anyways, imagine my surprise when Cynthia Rothrock showed up in 1997's The Dukes of Hazzard reunion. The moral, the universe is listening. Go with it. Number 2, Cynthia Rothrock used to be married to Ernest Rothrock, who's from here. The guy who owned schools all over Pittsburgh, including one I used to drive past every single day when I was a kid. I dreamed that Cynthia Rothrock was really at these schools and would teach me how to stop the bullies who had made my life hell in school. Instead of dreaming, I turned to Satan and got my revenge trick-or-treat style. Thanks, Sammy Kerr. Anyways, that's a whole bunch of movies. Thanks for listening.